Good morning, students. In this lecture, in our chapter of bank reconciliation statement, we are going to learn about one of the method of preparing bank reconciliation statement. The method name is debit credit method, also known as accounting method. So, topic for today is method of preparing bank reconciliation statement, debit credit method or accounting method. In this method, friends, to prepare bank reconciliation statement, our statement two columns are kept for amount. One debit column, second credit column. And friends, before solving the sum, we will go through the sum and we will find that we will be given with the balance of either of the books, that is either the balance of cash book or the balance of passbook will be given to us, and we will have to start our bank reconciliation statement from with that balance. If the balance as per cash book is given, debit balance as per cash book, which is known as bank balance, is given to us, we will be writing that at the beginning of our statement in debit column. And if it is given credit balance, that is bank overdraft, we will be writing in the credit column of our bank reconciliation statement. Or else, if balance as per passbook is given, which is a credit balance, we will be writing at the credit side of our statement. And if balance as per, that is bank overdraft as per passbook is given, we will be writing at the debit side of our statement. Okay, and then we will be writing the reasons of difference between the balances of two, cash book and passbook. Now, how to write those reasons and how to give effect debit and credit? For that, we will be comparing both the books, that is passbook and cash book, and will be finding the difference. Difference means that we will be finding the different entries, the entries which are there in one book and not in another book. Now, if that different is found at the debit side of either of the books, then it will be recorded at the credit side of bank reconciliation statement. And if that difference is found at the credit side of either of the book, then that difference will be recorded at the debit side of our statement. Okay friends, so this is very simple method to understand. Let us see a list of the transactions which are debited or credited in our bank reconciliation statement under debit and credit method or accounting method. The first one, check received from customer and deposited with bank but not collected by bank. Right? So friends, check which is deposited but not collected by bank. Check deposited, whenever we receive a check, we record that at the debit side of cash book. Now it has not been credited by bank, so debit entry is done in cash book but credit entry is not done in passbook, so we will be crediting this in our bank reconciliation statement. Second one, payment made by bank on behalf of trader not recorded in cash book. Bank has paid some amount on behalf of on behalf of trader from his account, that is from our account. When bank has paid some amount, but we have not recorded in cash book. Now friends, when bank will be paying any amount from our account, bank will be debiting in our account. That means bank will be doing entry at the debit side of our account. What we have to do, we have to credit this in bank reconciliation statement, because this is not done in cash book. Okay, so very simple, credit side the entry will be given. Then check received from customer but not deposited with bank. Friends, check received from customer, and as we have discussed already, that whenever check is received, immediately it is recorded in debit side or receipt side of cash book in bank column. Now as it has been recorded in bank column, that is debit entry is done, and the bank check is not deposited in bank, so obviously it is not going to be credited by bank. Now debit entry is done in cash book, credit entry is not done in passbook, so we will be crediting this in our statement. Next, bank charges collected and debited by bank but not recorded in cash book. Bank charges collected and debited by bank. Sometimes for the services provided by bank is charging bank is collecting some charges from us, right? Those charges bank will be debiting in its books, that means in our passbook. Now the same is not recorded in cash book, so bank has debited in cash book, this supposed to be credited. Next, check deposited with the bank dishonored. Check dishonor is not recorded in cash book. We record a check and deposit in the bank, but later on if the check becomes dishonor, bank do the debit of that much amount in our bank account. So we need to credit that in our cash book, and if it is not done, we will be doing this in our bank reconciliation statement. Bills payable paid by bank on behalf of trader, which is not recorded in cash book. Bank has paid some bill receivable on our behalf, so bank must have debited that amount in our account. Now this is not done in our cash book, so in our statement we will be doing that. Next, interest allowed by bank recorded twice in cash book. Suppose bank has allowed interest to us, that means bank has given interest to us, that means bank has credited interest in our account. Now if that interest is recorded in cash book twice, that is 2 times by mistake, so it will indicate that it is credited only one time in passbook but debited 2 times in cash book. So cash book one time entry is more, one time more it is debited, so it will have to be credited in our statement. Next, bank charges collected by bank recorded in cash book on receipt side by mistake. Now friends, bank charges collected by bank is debiting those amount in passbook, whatever charges bank taking. The same amount supposed to be credited in our in our cash book payment side. Now instead of writing at payment side, we have recorded the same at the receipt side. We had to write at the payment side, but we had written at the receipt side. So to overcome this, what we will have to do, we will have to write at the credit side 2 times, because one time it's supposed to be credited and one time it is wrongly debited. So 2 times we will be crediting in our bank reconciliation statement, so double amount will be credited. Next, receipt side of cash book is overcast. Receipt side is known as debit side, and debit side suppose is overcast, so we have to credit that. Debit side of passbook is overcast. Suppose debit side of passbook is overcast, though it is not done by bank, but rarely it is possible. In rare cases, it is a chance that banks commit such kind of mistake, because nowadays we know that all such things are done through computers and there are no chances of such mistake. But still, if there is any such mistake, that is debit side of passbook is overcast, then as it is overcast debit side, so we will have to record at the credit side. Now payment side of cash book is undercast. Payment side, that is credit side of cash book is undercast. So we need to give the same effect. Total is undercast, so we have to increase the total, that is credit effect we have to give. And credit side of passbook is undercast. If credit side of passbook is undercast, again the same thing, that credit effect we have to give, we have to increase the credit total, right? Bills receivable discounted with the bank and dishonor on due date, which is not recorded in cash book. We have discussed this, that when the bill which was discounted with the bank becomes dishonor on the day of maturity, the bank is debiting that amount along with noting charges, so we need to credit that in our cash book. But if it is not done in cash book, then it will be recorded in bank reconciliation statement. What else? Check presented in bank but not recorded in cash book. Sometimes we issue the check and forget to write in our cash book, and the same check is presented by the customer or by the client in our bank. So bank will be paying the amount, bank will be debiting amount, but amount is not credited in cash book because no transaction is recorded in cash book. So bank has debited, we have not recorded in cash book. This amount supposed to be credited in cash book, it has not been credited in cash book, so we will be crediting this in our bank reconciliation statement. Okay, so these were few examples of, or you can say few transactions where we need to give credit effect. Now let us see few transactions where we will have to give debit effect. Among that, the first one is check issued to creditors for payment of expenses which is not presented in bank. We have issued a check to someone, so we will immediately credit that amount in our bank column of cash book. But the same check is not presented for payment, that means bank will not be debiting the amount. Bank cannot debit the amount unless check comes to it, right? So we have credited in cash book, the same supposed to be debited in passbook, but it has not been done in passbook yet, so we'll be debiting this in our bank reconciliation statement. Next, amount collected on behalf of the trader and credited by bank which is not recorded in cash book. Amount collected on behalf of trader and credited by bank which is not recorded in cash book. We have, while discussing the reasons responsible for the difference between the balance of cash book and passbook, we have discussed about this, that sometimes bank is collecting amount on behalf of us and crediting in our bank account. The same should be debited in our cash book, but if it has not been debited in our cash book, we will be debiting that in our bank reconciliation statement. What else? Amount deposited by customer in trader's account directly which is not recorded in cash book. Sometime any trader is directly depositing to our bank which is credited by bank in passbook, but no record is done in cash book, no record is maintained for the same in cash book as the information was not received. Now as this has not been debited in cash book, we will be debiting in our cash book, we will be debiting in our bank reconciliation statement. Next, check drawn but left to be given. Check we have drawn and credited in our cash book, but the same has not been handed over. So when check is not handed over to the creditor, how it is going to be recorded in passbook? Because we have not given to creditor, so no way check is going to be presented before bank, right? But it has been recorded in cash book, so it has been recorded at the credit side of cash book. Now we will be debiting this in our bank reconciliation statement. What else? Interest allowed by bank and credited in passbook which is not recorded in cash book. Bank has given us interest and credited in our passbook, but the same is not recorded in cash book. So the same supposed to be debited in cash book, it has not been debited in cash book. We will be debiting in our bank reconciliation statement. Next, check issued but not paid by bank or dishonor which is not recorded in cash book. We have issued a check and immediately we have recorded in our cash book, but payment is not done from our bank because of any reason, right? So we have recorded at the credit side of cash book, but no debit effect is done by the bank, so the debit effect will be done in bank reconciliation statement. What else? Bills receivable collected by the bank on behalf of trader which is not recorded in cash book. Bank has collected amount on behalf of us, amount of bills receivable on behalf of us, right, and credited in our bank account, but the same is not recorded in our cash book. Now this supposed to be debited in our cash book, it has not been debited in our cash book, so we will be debiting in our bank reconciliation statement. Next, bank charges collected by bank recorded twice in bank in cash book. Bank charges are debited by bank, but these supposed to be credited in cash book, but by mistake if those charges are correct are credited in cash book twice, so one time we have to remove, and that means we have to debit, and to debit as it the mistake is done in cash book, the amount is twicely credited, so one time we have to debit in our bank reconciliation statement. Okay. Next, bank charges waived off by bank and recorded in passbook which is not recorded in cash book. Sometimes on our request bank allow us, means bank cancel our bank charges which is collected by bank, which is known as waiving off. So bank charges waived off, bank has cancelled the bank charges, that means the amount which bank has debited earlier bank does the credit of that much of amount in our bank account, but we have no information about this waiving off of charges, so bank has credited that much of amount in our bank account, in our passbook. This is not done in cash book. If this is recorded in cash book, this will be done at the debit side of cash book, so we will be debiting that. Then interest allowed by bank recorded on the payment side of cash book by mistake. Sometimes any interest which is given by bank, which is credited by bank, which is which is credited by bank, supposed to be debited in cash book, but by mistake instead of debiting in the cash book, it has been credited in cash book too. Bank it has been credited, and in cash book also instead of debiting it has been credited. So overcome this, we will have to debit this amount two times, that is double amount will be debited in our bank reconciliation statement. What else? Payment side of cash book overcast. A payment side, that is credit side of cash book, is overcast, that much of amount that should be debited. Credit side of passbook is overcast, so if credit side of passbook is overcast, that much of amount should be debited. Receipt of cash book undercast, receipt side of cash book is undercast, that is debit side of cash book is undercast, we supposed to debit it with that amount, and debit side of passbook is undercast, then again we supposed to debit that much of amount in our bank reconciliation statement. And the last, check credited in passbook which is not recorded in cash book. Any check which is credited in passbook but not recorded in cash book, that means either we have not recorded or the check is directly deposited by customer. In both the cases we have to debit this much of amount in cash book. As it has not been debited in cash book, we will be debiting in our bank reconciliation statement. Okay friends, so those were few reasons which are responsible and their effects in bank reconciliation statement. Next lecture we will be doing practical sums of our textbook. Thank you.